Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name is Kendall and today I'm going to be doing one of the videos that I have been most anticipating since I've come back to BookTube, and that is doing my fall book haul. Are you guys ready? Because there are quite a lot of books. These are like my regular shelves up here, and then down here are all the books that I've collected throughout the fall for this haul, or throughout the year for this haul. So let's go ahead and dive in because this is probably going to be a longer video. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the books that I've bought myself and that I picked up because I was interested in them. Some of them are new releases, some of them are not. So I'm going to go through those, and then the next category I'll go to are books that I got for my birthday that were fall related and that I plan, you know, to get to. And then I also have some books that I have already had on my shelves for a while, and I probably haven't necessarily hauled them in other videos, but they're books that I definitely want to get to this fall, and ones that I feel like I have been anticipating for at least a year or more now. So I'm not going to go into a bunch of details of what the books are about. I may give you like a quick rundown, but it definitely won't be very long, especially if it's a shorter book like a graphic novel or a manga or a popular book. I probably won't go into that much detail just because I don't want this video to end up being an hour long, because we do have about probably 60-ish books to go through with everything that I have, maybe more than that. So let's just go ahead and get started. Okay, so some of these are going to be autumn reads, some of these are going to be spooky horror recs, some of them are going to be nothing to do with either one, but I feel like I'm in the mood to read them around this time of year, so that's what I'm going to base this off of. So the first one we have is The Diviners by Libba Bray. I'm in love with this cover. I think it is everything. It was a funny story because I actually unhauled Layer of Dreams by Libba Bray, which is the second in the Diviner series. If you guys hear bells, Peanut Butter is playing with some toys. But I unhauled this because I have had this on my shelf for at least 2 years, and it's the hardback copy, and I got this for like $5 at Barnes & Noble when they were in clearance, and it was just a really good deal, but I could not find the hard copy of The Diviners anywhere. And I was like, I'm just going to unhaul that and end up getting the paperbacks because I wanted all of mine to match. Well, then I went to a local used bookstore called Mr. K's, and I ended up finding The Diviners this year, pretty recently, in hardcover, and I was like, well, this is meant to be. So I quickly hauled back my second book, and I'm very excited to get into the series. Olivia, which you know I'm really good friends with, said that this is one of the creepiest books she's ever read, and so I'm very excited to dive into this. She loves the audio, so I can't wait to get that as well. The next one I got is A Cosmology of Monsters by Sean Hamill. This one is supposed to be, I believe, like a kind of creepy, it's in the horror section, and it kind of reminds people of the Addams Family in a way, so I'm very excited to read this and get into it. I've seen so many people talk about this one, and I believe this is his debut novel, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it is his debut novel, sorry. And it says that it brilliantly combines the mythos of H.P. Lovecraft with a contemporary story of a family under threat of destruction from supernatural forces. So I really like that aspect because H.P. Lovecraft, I've never read anything by him, but I've heard amazing things, and then the family under threat, you know, kind of reminds me of Hill House in a way, so I'll be excited to see my thoughts on this one. The next one I put as an add-on in my Book of the Month box for August, and it is called Small Angels by Lauren Owen. I really don't know much about this book at all. I just know that it has to do with the woods and creepy, you know, I think there are sisters or something, there's a church, it's a village, there's a lot of creepy things. It kind of reminds me of, I'm trying to think of the TV show Midnight Mass in a way, but I don't think it's probably as creepy as that, but we shall see. The next book that I'm dying to get to is Home Before Dark by Riley Sager. I feel like a lot of people know I have never read a Riley Sager book in my life, and I'm dying to get to this one. This one's kind of like a haunted house, and it just sounds really cool, and the cover draws me in, and I'm like, maybe this will be my first read for Riley Sager in a way that it'll get me pumped up for fall as well. So I think a lot of people know that I read My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix, which was the first Grady Hendrix book I have read, and I really, really loved it. And so I went ahead and picked up this other book club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by him as well. A lot of people really like this one, and it's supposed to be really like clever, and let's see, people say it's cheeky, it's a spot on for book clubs, it has thrills, chills, and relevant examples of socio-political injustices. Okay, sounds good to me. The next one I also found at a used bookstore, and I've never heard of it. It's called Girl in the Walls by A.J. Noose, I believe is how you say the last name, but I'm not 100% sure. So if you do know or happen to know, please let me know in the comments. This one is like this, there are like in this girl named Elise is in this house, and something happened with her parents and they never came home. Well, then it goes back to, or it goes forwards in time to a different character named Eddie, and he's a teenager and he has a brother, and all of a sudden they are hearing things in the walls of like their new house, and I believe it's supposed to like be a dual timeline type of thing. So I really feel like this one's going to be a really good horror type read. The next one I have is Small Town Big Magic by Hazel Beck. This is supposed to be history, this is supposed to have witches and just magic and all of that stuff, and I think that this has some romance in it as well. And everybody says, like Ashley Winstead said, it's an enchanting read, perfect for fans of the Hex and Payback's a Witch. Never read either one of those, but they both are on my radar to get to as well. So I feel like this one's going to be very enjoyable, and it also, the cover is just downright gorgeous. The next one I got this because I have been picking it up like every time I go to Barnes & Noble, and I just kept putting it down and not buying it, and I was like, you know what, I am just gonna give in, and I got it. It's The Whispering House by Elizabeth Brooks. This one's supposed to be like a really gothic story, and I really honestly don't know what's going on. It says, it was like holding a couple of jigsaw pieces in my palm, knowing there was a whole picture to be made if I could only find the rest. So all I know is like there is this like haunted mansion type thing, but it's got gothic vibes to it, and I really like gothic stories, so I think that I will really like this one. Again, I think that the cover is just beautiful. I have heard mixed things about this, so I am interested to see how I take it. Another one that I want to read that's not really like fall or autumn related, but I feel like it goes kind of with the vibes that I'm getting from these reads, and that is Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. Jordan over from Sorry Book Solid loves this book, and she pretty much has convinced me to pick it up and give it a try. I've been wanting to get more into sci-fi instead of just fantasy, so I really want to give this a try, and everybody loves Blake Crouch. I really don't know what this is about, honestly, but The Guardian commented and said, the most helter-skelter race to the finish line thriller you'll read all year with a clever, mind-boggling final twist. So I'm always in the mood for a thriller. I love that the science fiction gets put in this, so I will be excited to see my thoughts on this one. This one I did not get for my birthday, but I was sent this back when it first came out, and a friend sent it to me, Elizabeth from Ponytails and Paperbacks, because she is absolutely in love with this book. She is like its spokesperson in my opinion, and she has convinced me to read this, and I think I have put it off because I get so much like haunted horror type vibes from it, and I want to read it around this time of year. And it is Hidden Pictures by Jason Rekulik, I believe is how you say his name. This book is really creepy. I know that there is a nanny and this kid who is drawing like these really creepy photos, and they think that this like demon or this other ghost is like possessing this kid to tell how the ghost has died. And yeah, so there's mystery, there is horror, there are creepy children, which you all know how I feel about that, but I'm excited, really excited to see this one. This one to me is kind of extra like exciting because it has pictures. Not gonna like ruin all of it for you, but creepy pictures, you know, pictures that you don't want to see your kids drawing, but yeah, it's gonna be good. So this next book I had already started, but I was having a hard time getting into it. It does happen on Halloween night, so I figured giving it another go maybe in October would be a good idea, and that is Daisy Darker by Alice Feeney. I also have never read an Alice Feeney book before, and this is my first one. I was enjoying the storyline, and the characters are very unlikable, which I actually kind of like, because you can just hate everybody at the same time and not feel bad about it. Like, you don't have people saying, I can't believe you hate that character, but everybody hates that character, you know? So I always find that interesting, but there's like, it's kind of more mystery than it is thriller in a way, because you have just people dying one after the other, and it's this family, and you don't know who's killing who. It's crazy. So I'm excited to jump back into this one and hopefully finish it soon. The other book I have, I also got from a used bookstore, and it is another Alice Feeney novel, and it is Rock, Paper, Scissors. This cover does give me like winter vibes, but you know, it has winter and snow, and maybe if I don't read it in like the fall, I'll move it to my winter type reads. But it's just, there's this couple, and it's going into like, do you know who you married? But there's this, like, they're in Scotland on a trip, and you know, I feel like it's gonna be good, and it's gonna be thrilling, and it may just be because I'm in the mood for some thrillers and like scary kind of things happening. But everybody has raved about this book, so that may also be why I want to get to it pretty soon. This next book, you're probably going to be like, Kendall, why did you buy this when you haven't even finished the first book in the series? And you have a good point, but I already know that I'm going to really like this series, because the first book, I haven't even finished it yet, and I'm already loving it so much. And the second book is called Whispering Pines Infestation. The first one is called Whispering Pines. And the best way to tell you guys what this is about is, it has these children, these are your main characters down here, but this book is like really creepy, and the best way to describe it, which the author's kind of given this vibe, is X-Files meets Stranger Things, and I love both of those, so go ahead and give me all of those vibes, you know? The next book I just picked up recently, and it is Belladonna by Avalyn Grace. So the only Avalyn Grace novel I've read is All the Stars and Teeth, which is the first in a series, and it surrounds like sirens and mermaids and pirates and all of that good stuff. So it's a fantasy novel. I don't know if this one is fantasy or not, to be quite honest. I believe it is, but Carrie Maniscalco, who was the writer of the Kingdom of the Wicked series and Stalking Jack the Ripper, said that it is a decadently atmospheric. This Gothic romance is filled with desire, betrayal, and of course death. So I know it's dark, I know it has romance, you know, the cover immediately draws you in, so I'm excited to get to this one really soon. I'm just preparing you guys that you guys are going to hear me say, I want to get to this really soon, and there's no way I'm getting to 60 books this fall when I have basically read that many in a year, but I'm going to read as many as I possibly can and enjoy them. But the next one I have is The Lighthouse Witches by C.J. Cook. Olivia read this and she loved it, and she was very like, why is nobody talking more about C.J. Cook? And they have another book called The Nesting, and it just sounds really good, so I'm very excited to jump into this. She says the atmosphere for this one is just amazing. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I'm feeling a lot of Halloween autumn romances, because I feel like the past few books I've been reading are like thrillers or fiction books or sci-fi fantasy books, and they have a lot of plot and they have a lot of things going on, and I just want stuff that doesn't have too much plot but has some romance to the side, stuff like that. I want easy peasy things, so I feel like that's a lot of what I'm going to be reading this October. But I got Go Hex Yourself by Jessica Clare. I know that there's like this, I think she's a witch, I don't know what she is, somebody does spellcraft, somebody's doing magic. There's enemies to lovers in this in a way, so it says there's one hex of an attraction in this romantic comedy from New York. Sounds right up my alley. I thought that the cover was really like rom-com cute, so I feel like it'll be a good one. The next one I got, I don't know much about. I just happened to see it at my local bookstore and picked it up because of what the cover says, but it's The House on Vesper Sands by Perrick O'Donnell, I believe is how you say the name. Again, not quite sure, but there's an author that blurbs this that says it's eerie, haunting, and fantastically enjoyable. She also says it manages to do 100 marvelous things at once. Funny, eerie, tender, haunting, and unsettling, smokily atmospheric, and fantastically enjoyable. So, I mean, I feel like moths and stuff like this, bugs, always give off creepy vibes, so maybe that's why I was attracted to it so much. The next one I got definitely gives me autumn type vibes, and it is called This Vicious Grace by Emily Feed. It is a young adult fantasy novel. I think it has magic. There's a slow burn romance in it. You know, there's a fantasy world. People said that the banter in this one's really good, and I've also heard that the audiobook goes really well with this, so I'm very excited to see what this one is like. The next one I got as a gift from Keisha, and I believe I've seen her and a few other people that are very interested in reading this book, and it is A Letter to Three Witches by Elizabeth Bass, and it kind of gives me Bewitched vibes, so I'm very excited about that. This one says, in the sleepy college town of Zenobia, New York, the only supernatural trace on display is the name of Gwen Ingalls' business, Abracadabra Odd Job Service. But Gwen's family has some unusual abilities they've been keeping under wraps until one little letter spells big trouble. That's literally all I know about it. It's just been on my radar. The next one I got kind of gives me autumn vibes, and that's because it's been compared to Gilmore Girls, and somebody recommended it to me, and I was like, you know what? Sounds right up my alley. And it is As Seen on TV by Meredith Shore. I believe Abby Jimenez blurbed it as adorable and steamy fun that's full of Gilmore Girls vibes. So that may also be why I feel that way about it, but it's very cute. Very cute. Sorry, I had to get it situated. But I just know there's journalism. There's a little town called Pleasant Hollow. So I'm looking forward to getting into this one and just living on my Gilmore Girls dream. The next one I got when I was with Kayla and Olivia a while back, and they both told me that I just needed to read this book. Olivia is telling me I need to read or listen to the audiobook while I read because it is so creepy and eerie, and that is Rules for Vanishing by Kay Alice Marshall. I have the old cover, which I actually kind of like, but it says rules, bones, hearts, all of these can be broken. Once a year, a road appears in the forest. At the end of it, the ghost of Lucy Gallows beckons to travelers to play your game. If you win, you escape with your life, but if you lose, ... So, it's a pretty, like, thick type of book, but I do feel like I'm going to get into this one pretty soon because I think that this will be a good book to get me in the spooky mood. So, another thing that I do want to do this fall is get into some cozy mysteries because I feel like I have a few friends that love cozy mysteries and they have just talked about them enough to the point where I want to read them now. So I got a few ones that are kind of fall themed. So this one I found, it kind of gives me Gothic vibes, and it is Death in Castle Dark by Veronica Bond. I thought that the castle was really cute. I loved it. But it says actor Nora Blake finds her dream job when she is cast in a murder mystery troupe that performs in an imposing but captivating old castle. When she stumbles upon a real murder, things take a nightmarish turn in the first book in an exciting new series. So I feel like this one will be really good, and I believe I'm going to buddy read this with Olivia at some point, so very excited for that. The next one I got, I believe, is one that's in a series, but it's a series you don't have to read every book in the series to understand, and it is called The Ghost in the Haunted Portrait by Cleo Coyle. I love the cover. It definitely gives you autumn vibes. It says bookshop owner Penelope Thornton McClure and her gumshoe ghost team up to solve the stunning mystery at the heart of a so-called mad woman's self-portrait in this all-new installment from best-selling author Cleo Coyle. So there's like this ghost who is a detective, and there's this portrait that everybody thinks is haunted. So all I know is that this ghost is like doing detective work, and I think that's so adorable. The next one I was gifted to by my precious friend Naomi when I hit 300 subscribers, and it is The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager. Naomi really loves this one, and the fact that Alex Michaelides is one that blurbed this and said it's an unput-downable page turner makes me want to read it even more. And like I said, I don't really have high hopes because I've never read Riley Sager before, but this one just sounds really cool. Laura Dave also has blurbed this, who wrote The Last Thing He Told Me, which was a book that I read for the Upside Down Readathon as my buddy read, and Simone St. James, who wrote the book of Cold Cases, has also blurbed this. So this one may get my hopes up a little high. This next one I'm very excited for. It's M is for Monsters by Talia Dutton. It is a graphic novel, and it has just green, like this greenish bluish color in it, but that really doesn't bother me because this is a Frankenstein inspired graphic novel, and you guys know that I love Frankenstein, and I'm very excited to dive into this one. It says a scientist attempts to bring her younger sister back to life with unexpected results in this Frankenstein inspired graphic novel about ghosts, identity, and family. Right up my alley. This one I literally just bought the other day because I saw it on 2 different people's accounts and it looked really good. And it's For Your Own Good by Samantha Downing, who also wrote My Lovely Wife. I have never read a Samantha Downing book, so this one looks like it would be a good one to start out with. It says that it's dark, it's tense, dark, sly, and delicious. There is an academy, suspense, and it looks like haunted things, so you know, what more could I want? The next one I got, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail because I got these when I was with Olivia and I did a haul on my channel for one of the days of the Upside Down Readathon, and it is The League of Gentlemen Witches by India Holton. Isn't this cover so pretty? The next one is Dark Tales by Shirley Jackson, which are short stories. And then I got Cackle by Rachel Harrison. Yeah, I don't even need to say anything about this. This was sent to me by Gabby at Gabbing About Books, and she really liked this one, and her and I have been talking a lot about graphic novels recently, and she's been getting more into them, and I love that. So she sent me Garlic and the Vampire by Brie Paulson, just because she knows how much I adore graphic novels, and this one is so stinking cute. Another one I got is Sorcery by Sylvia Douye. Olivia read this for the Upside Down Readathon and she liked it, and it looks really cute, and I love the artwork in it. I think it's gorgeous, so I'm excited to get to this one. It's also like a graphic novel series, which I love. Another graphic novel that I'm excited to read is Anya's Ghost by Vera Brosgol. Olivia read this and said that she really likes it. As you can tell, most of my recommendations come from Olivia because when I talk to her, we have such similar tastes that anything she recommends me, I automatically just buy it. I'm gonna be honest. Another one that Olivia and Keisha are both obsessed with is The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston, and I had already started reading this one. I think I was even close to being halfway through it, but I was in a big reading slump at the point in time when I was reading this, so it was very hard for me to get into it. But I think that once fall comes around and you know that weather hits and you're talking about ghosts and all of that good stuff, this is definitely going to be back up on my list to get through. Another one that I picked up is Love in the Time of Serial Killers by Alicia Thompson. I personally am very excited for this one. It has true crime mixed in with it. It's funny. This girl's like obsessed with it. It's just hilarious. So I'm really excited to see this and how it plays out. I think it's going to be really good. It says one woman is going to have to learn how to give love a chance when she's used to suspecting the worst in this fresh romantic comedy. I think when you mix like horror and like true crime into comedy, I just find it hilarious and love it. So that maybe that something's wrong with me, but I don't really care. Another one that I have been dying to get to is Dracula by Bram Stoker. This is also obviously a classic novel about a vampire, and it sounds really good, and I didn't know, but it is written in letters, and I literally didn't know that, but I'm very excited to get into it. Again, I love Frankenstein so much that I feel like Dracula is also going to be right up my alley. Also, shout out to the Etsy shop, I can't remember what it is, for my Crescent City shirts. It says Starborn, and it has crescent moon and a hand that says light it up. Lauren, if you're watching this, show this to Ben, your husband, because he needs a matching one, because we're Crescent City besties. Another graphic novel that I'm excited to read is Ghost by Raina Telgemeier. Everybody loves this one. It has ghost in it, you know, it has Day of the Dead celebration in it as well. It has a lot of Hispanic culture and, you know, appreciation in it, so I'm excited to see what this entails, but I feel like it's going to be amazing. Another one I found at a local bookstore, and I didn't even know S.E. Hinton wrote anything besides young adult books, but she wrote this horror novel that is called Hawks Harbor, and R.L. Stine blurbs it, and he said, "I gave myself to Hawks Harbor from the very first page. I love the mystery of it unfolding so deliberately, and then such horror I wanted to echo Jamie's fevered plea, don't let it be dark, don't let it be dark." Hello. You can bet your bottom I'm gonna read this one. The next one I want to read was Lauren's buddy read for the Upside Down Readathon, and it is The Saturday Night Ghost Club by Craig Davidson. This is more of like a coming of age story, but you also get those like ghost stories mixed in with it, and Lauren really liked it, and I think that I will too, so I'm very excited to pick this one up. It says, an irresistible coming of age story about a group of misfit kids who spend an unforgettable summer investigating local ghost stories and urban legends. So I will be reading this soon. Another one that I was gifted is The Clackety by Laura Synth. This is one of Keisha's favorite books, and it looks very creepy, and I'm excited to get to it. So it looks like there's a haunted house, there's a little redheaded girl, so you know me, I'm gonna go with my roots. So this next category of books I was gifted for my birthday, so I'm not gonna go into detail of what they are about, but I will show you them, and basically just, you know, we're gonna keep going. And yeah, so I have, if you want to check out like who they're from, what they are about, stuff like that, you can go watch my daily vlogs from the Readathon, and it'll go more into detail. So the first one is Hookie by Miriam Bonister, I believe is how you say her name. Very cute. It is a graphic novel. It's a chunker. I have The Witches of Moonshine Manor by Bianca Marias, I believe is how. I'm not very good at pronunciation, so you guys will have to forgive me for that. Another one I have is The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches by Sangu Mandana. I have Crumbs by Danny Sterling, which I have already read, and I can tell you guys, I gave it 5 stars. It was adorable. I loved it. Another cozy mystery by that I got, I don't remember who sent this to me. I don't remember, but it's Bait and Witch by Angela M. Sanders. So cute. Love the little kitty on it. I am very excited about this one, and it is These Fleeting Shadows by Kate Alice Marshall. It says, I promise to tell the truth, but first I have to lie. We love a Victorian mansion that is haunted. Another one I have is in a Dracula inspired novel, and it is Go Hunt Me by Kelly DeVos. It was Caitlin's buddy read pick for the Upside Down Readathon. I have Angelica Frankenstein Makes Her Match by Sally Thorne, who is the author of The Hating Game. I have Sheets by Brenna Thumler, which is also a graphic novel. I have never read Agatha Christie either, so I'm very excited to get into this one because she is the queen of mystery. And this is Halloween Party by Agatha Christie. This is the second book in a series. I read The Haunting of Avalyn Jones and really enjoyed it. And this is The Bewitching of Avalyn Jones by Phil Hicks. It was probably one of the creepiest middle grade books I've ever read. This one I also want to read because Anne of Green Gables, she does remind me of 2 different seasons, spring and fall. So if I do not get to this one in the fall, it will probably be gotten to in the spring. But this one is by L.M. Montgomery. I love this penguin edition. And this is another graphic novel that I was sent and have already read, and it is Over My Dead Body by Sweeney Boo, and it was amazing. It was also a 5-star read for me, and I buddy read this with Elizabeth from Ponytails and Paperback, and she loved this one as well. And now I'm going to show you a few books that I have had on my shelves for a while and that I really want to get to this fall, but again, it is a pretty big stack, so who knows what will happen. But I'm also not going to go into a lot of detail with these as well because I feel like most of these have been out for a while and they're on pretty much a lot of people's radar. One of them is a Junji Ito manga called Tomi, and this one is a chunker. I also have a Junji Ito retelling of Frankenstein that is a manga. It's pretty thick, but it looks amazing. This one is supposed to be Gothic Ireland, and it is The Butcher's Blessings by Ruth Gilligan. I also have Sundial by Katrina Ward. I have The Death of Jane Lawrence by Caitlin Starling. I have the Book of Cold Cases by Simone St. James. Somebody can yell at me if I don't get to this one this year, and it is Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno Garcia. Another one I have is The Children on the Hill by Jennifer McMahon. I also have The Dark Descent of Elizabeth Frankenstein by Kirsten White, which I am more than excited for. I have What Big Teeth by Rose Szabo. And last but not least, I have Horrid by Katrina Leno, however you say your name. So these are all the books that I'm very excited to read. I feel like I have a lot, and I definitely know that a lot of these are going to end up back on my shelves and ready to be read this fall, or next fall, or the fall after that. But I am glad that I was able to secure a lot of these. A lot of these I'm very excited for. I'm already going ahead and getting started on these reads, and I hope to continue reading them through November and, you know, see how it goes. But let me know if any of these are high up on your list down in the comments below, and if there's any you think I should get to immediately before the other ones, or if you've read any of these and you just want to let me know what your thoughts are on them so that I can also be aware of what to expect. I would greatly appreciate it. But thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching. I just want to say again, thank you so much for everybody who participated in the Upside Down Readathon. We had such a good time. There were so many of you, and you are all greatly appreciated. But again, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video.